Hi there, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Porter Robinson and some songs of his that I like. And I'm not going to be ranking them. I'm just going to talk about songs of his that I like. I know sometimes ranking videos are a bit more exciting, but I didn't feel like getting into the whole ranking thing this time. Okay, so I'm going to start out with Sad Machine, which is track 2 from Worlds. This song, like many songs on Worlds, has a very strong hook and like a part where the music has a hook that's catchy, danceable even, a very loud kind of intense synth line that just cuts through everything else, and it's a hook. And in on this album in particular, in Worlds, there's a lot of that, like strong main hooks to the songs that were sort of fit in with that style of like around the 2010s EDM. Like it makes you think of like Zed or Avicii. But what I like about Porter Robinson is I find he's still unique. And even though it's comparable to that stuff, there's something about his songwriting to me that sets him apart, about the sounds that he creates, where he does fit in a little bit with the main EDM sounds, especially of that time period, early 2010s. But at the same time, he doesn't to me, and he seems more special. And that's probably why I come back to him more often than someone like Zed. Some other things I like about this track is it's extremely danceable. I feel like if I were to be someone who dances more, this would be a standout one for moving and grooving along to any of the tracks on this album. Also, the drums are very clear and boom, chap, boom, bap, and big, and the drums very much cut through the mix, especially on the parts where I mentioned where it has that hook. Yeah, I just love it. Also, it's our introduction to, I'm not sure if this cute, I call her like the cute robot girl voice, um, is very clear on this song. But as you explore this album more, there's themes of like apocalyptic themes and some sort of darker stuff. So while she does have that cute voice, the themes are actually a little darker. With the chorus of this song, the "We depend on you, she depends on you," I read the Genius annotation for the lyrics, and it's actually about, it has to do with a post apocalyptic world and an AI machine, depending on the person. I'm not phrasing that right, but you wouldn't guess that the first time you listen to the song, but it becomes more apparent after you read some of those annotations. Okay, the next track I'm gonna talk about. I'm just sticking to Worlds right now. We just talked about track 2, Sad Machine. Now I'm going to track 5, Fresh Static Snow. So this is a song I just did a cover of, and it's absolutely one of my favorite songs on this album. I don't know really why it stands out to me so much. I think I like that it's a little more experimental, and it starts off with this big kind of really big synth, like wide, fat, cuts through everything, bassy. Dun 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 dun. It's it feels like dubsteppy, but it doesn't stick like, again, it's not, it's kind of obnoxious, but it doesn't stay there for so long. The song still has a lot more emotion and heartfelt, interesting songwriting to it. Yeah, so I For the first time in a video, I've taken off my glasses because I'm just tired of having the reflections of the lights and the softboxes come up in the glasses. It's weird because I feel blind right now. Everything's kind of blurry. But I have the lyrics to Fresh Static Snow here, and for some reason I didn't even realize this until I covered it just today. But the lyrics repeat. Verse 1 and verse 2 have the same lyrics, and then it repeats again at the end, and there's only one time where it changes at the very end. But most of the lyrics are, "You'd fit perfectly to me, we'd end our loneliness, melt this curse away, though I'll never know your name, I'll cry for you the same." I always thought that line was particularly interesting about not knowing your name, cry for you the same. It seems like the more I think about it, there's themes of loneliness and like a one or two people against the world kind of thing, or it might be that it's two people after the end of the world, after an apocalypse, like if you follow the theme from the second track, whatever that one was called, Sad Machine. So I don't know. It's again, I feel like we have our cute robot girl voice. She's not as cute as track 4, but the cute robot girl comes back again and again on this album. I forgot to mention also this hat I'm wearing is Porter Robinson merch. I just saw him at Firefly recently, the Firefly Music Festival in Dover, Delaware. He had an amazing set. I took pictures with my camera and my regular phone, and I was up close. It was late at night. His set was from 12:30 a.m. to like 1:55, so basically 2 a.m. And it was incredible. And this was the only Porter merch they had. That's his little squiggly, well, not kind of scribbly line thing. And then it says Porter. Damn, where did I go here? Porter Robinson. It says on the back. So I don't know. I was excited about that. I thought this hat was not so great at first, but it's kind of grown on me. I like it. And yeah. So the squiggle line thing, by the way, is like part of his live show visual art for Nurture, for the album Nurture specifically, and the tour that he's done, I guess. So yeah, after track 5, Fresh Static Snow, the next 3 tracks, Polygon Dust, Hear the Bells, Natural Lights, are a little slower. Although Hear the Bells is kind of upbeat, but it's still less intense than a lot of the first half of the album with the first 5 songs. Polygon Dust, Natural Light, yeah. Anyways, then we move on to track 9, Lionhearted. Now, I was talking about the cute robot girl voice, and now I do realize there is male sounding vocals on here, especially on Lionhearted. The vocals on here sound more natural, more like a male or a guy. And the chorus is like, I don't know if this is the right term, like a shout chorus or something, but it sounds like people shouting. And it sounds like a lot of people. And I love how they did that. I love the effect of that. It's very energetic. It's fun. Again, it's kind of generic. In fact, this might be the most generic sounding song on this album, but I can't deny how entertaining it is and how catchy it is. And it's also kind of the most formulaic song on the album. That's the word that comes to mind for me, formulaic. It's almost mathematical the way the song is constructed from very precise parts. It does not feel loose, it does not feel super organic. It feels like there's a lot of precise parts that go together very well. And it's very rhythmic, but in like a straight feel kind of way, like dun 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 dun, just kind of like ticking mechanical machinery. But that being said, all those parts fit together so nicely into something that's so, they're all really interesting, catchy parts. Again, a very danceable one, just like Sad Machine. Again, darker themes beneath the surface, kind of having to do with, um, I think, anarchism. I feel like I read that somewhere, but it has to do with like anarchists taking over and then falling into the same cycle of the people that they took over from, where corruption and I don't know, but you can see that in the music video, and I must have read that at some point somewhere. I don't think I saw the music video and then just was like anarchy and came up with that on my own, but uh, yeah, as with much of the album, I feel there's darker themes beneath the surface, but it is upbeat. Yeah, um, I love this one. Then, as we go to the end of the album, Worlds, again, I'm just talking about songs that I particularly like on here. We're not ranking. These aren't even, I mean, maybe they're my favorite songs. I don't know. They're just songs that I feel like talking about right now as I make this video. And I feel like if I'm talking about Worlds, and we've talked about 4 songs so far, the last one I definitely have to talk about is called Fellow Feeling. It's the second to the last song. Goodbye to a World is pretty amazing too. Those two kind of go together. When I'm listening to it, I think of those two, Fellow Feeling as good and Goodbye to a World, as almost pretty much kind of like one song. They feel the same. They feel like they're both closing out the album, and it's really beautiful in a drawn out. I don't know. There's something so beautiful about those. But Fellow Feeling in particular, I love that. That song is incredible. Okay, so Fellow Feeling, couple things I love about this song. It's kind of long. It's almost 6 minutes long, and it has this introduction of this string instrument. I don't know if it's a violin or whatever, but it's an orchestral sounding string instrument, and it's doing this main line da 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 da, and there's a lot of reverb. It sounds like this big, there's a sense of scale and epicness to this song, and it's just set up so beautifully. And it takes about 2 minutes for the beat to come in, and then there's just so many layers of things that build. And again, something I really like about this is it's more experimental. He has his most experimental moments on here, and a dubstep kind of quality, just like on Fresh Static Snow. Also, some kind of glitch. I don't know if it's just called glitch or glitch pop kind of stuff, but he really deconstructs the song, like falls apart into like weirdness and comes back together at the end, and it's awesome. I love that. It feels a lot to me like what Flume has done on his most recent album that came out in 2022, Palaces, where it's very approachable music. It's a lot like Odessa or Zed or that kind of thing, big festival EDM. But that album, he does some weird experimental shit on there. And I love it because it's like, it's so generic and normal, and then it'll just break apart into total chaos, but like go back to like the normalness. And it's a very interesting mix of that. But the way that he experiments on there, what I'm getting back to is that reminds me, Fellow Feeling reminds me of that new Flume album where there's it's also like it's constrained experimentation, because there's still a clear structure to the song, and it's not like total chaos. We're not talking free jazz here. It doesn't turn into Ornette Coleman, but it's yeah, it's really, I don't know what to say. This track is just beautiful. If you make it through the album, this is your reward for getting to the end of the album. This song, Fellow Feeling. Worlds is like one of my favorite albums ever, and I love everything about it. I love it from beginning to end, and these are tracks that kind of stand out to me, and for whatever reason, I felt like talking about them today. But it's a great album. If you haven't listened to it, you should really check it out. If you're a fan of electronic music or just music in general, if you have listened to it, what are some of your favorite tracks? Did I already talk about them, or did I miss certain tracks that you would consider your favorites? Or well, I keep saying favorites, but I'm also saying these weren't my favorites. So I don't know. What other tracks do you guys like from from Worlds by Porter Robinson? Is that one of your favorite albums as well? So thanks for sticking around. Next time I will talk about my favorite tracks or whatever tracks that I like from Nurture and just talk about interesting facets of the music, interesting things that Porter did. We'll probably talk a little bit about how Nurture differs from Worlds. Yeah, this is just really fun to do, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you next time.